Hello, thank you for joining me today. My name is Carli Reittinger, and I am a freshman elementary education major at Mount Mercy. I will be sharing the research I did on my family's genealogy in my Portal Immigrants and Literacy class this fall with Dr. Mattingly. Here's a picture of my family tree. So we have me right here. I have a picture of my mom, Michelle Reittinger. Over here, I have a picture of my dad, Scott, and then I included my grandparents as well as all of my great-grandparents. So for this project, I decided to follow my dad's side of the family, which originated from Germany, which is located right here on this map. More specifically, I'm going to be looking into my dad's grandpa's history, who is named Charles Wessels, and he would be my great-grandpa. When I was doing my research on the history of my great-grandpa's name, I found that it originated from Germany, and it means one who came from or lived near Wessel in Germany. There are a number of variations to spell Wessel, and here are some of them. I included those. My grandma, which is actually the daughter of Charles Wessels, found this coat of arms certificate when she was helping me with this project. Now I'm going to talk about the history of the German immigrants. In my research, I learned that during the early 1600s, a big turning point for the people of Germany was the 30 Years' War. This was a religious war in which Germany became the battlefield for the armies of many European nations. It was during this time that many Germans decided to emigrate to America. Another source I consulted mentioned that 13 German families in the mid-1700s sailed to America and founded Germantown in Pennsylvania in the American colonies. By 1745, there were approximately 45,000 Germans living in Pennsylvania. Then, 30 years later, the British hired German Hessian soldiers to help them defeat the American patriots during the American Revolution. After the war, many Germans decided to stay, while others came as indentured servants to America, seeking a better life. The main time period that German immigrants came to the United States was between 1820 to 1985. And actually, it was found that the number of German immigrants exceeded the number of any other immigrant groups. Through my research, I found a number of reasons why the Germans came to the United States. One of those reasons is that the Germans who were already in the United States described what life was like through things like pamphlets, books, and letters. This was actually one of the greatest influences in large numbers of Germans coming to the United States because they were much more aware of the opportunities they would be given. One of the sources I found was a book written by a guy named Gottfried Duden called The Report on a Journey to the Western States of North America, and he talked about how there was a lot of land as well as many different freedoms. Another reason why the Germans came to the United States was because of economic hardships. There were many times when they were drowning in debt, and because of these struggles, they wanted to come to the United States. When the Germans arrived in America, they were actually treated very well compared to other immigrant groups. Many immigrant groups were treated very poorly. However, the Americans did not treat the Germans like that. The Americans were actually in awe of all that the Germans had to offer and all that they contributed. They were accepted into American life because of the skills they brought, and they could produce a lot of items that the Americans needed. As a matter of fact, they contributed so much to the American society and economy. I included some pictures of their contributions, but this is only a fraction of what they contributed. Up here is a picture of an alfalfa crop, and then down here is a picture of winter wheat. These are both examples of crops that the German immigrants brought to the United States. The Germans contributed a lot to the United States agriculture, which is a big part of our country to this day. Then right here is a picture of a bridge that a German named John A. Roebling built, and it actually still stands today and is located over the Ohio River. Then below that right here is a picture of a butcher because Germans were very powerful as butchers and even created the word wurst that is seen in the food bratwurst. Then down here is a picture of Levi jeans. And these jeans were founded by a guy named Levi Strauss. And these jeans are actually a very popular brand to this day. Up here is a picture of a guy named Albert Einstein, who is very famous. He was a German who created our understanding of things like space, time, gravity, and the universe. Below that right here is a picture of people doing physical activity. A German guy was actually the one who introduced physical education, and that is how it got introduced inside schools. And then this final picture down here shows the contribution that one German woman made. She created the concept of kindergarten, which is something that is used to this day in our educational system. Now I'm going to talk about the research I did on present-day Germany. Germany's economy is actually doing very well. Their GDP has been increasing over the years, and it currently is at just over 4 billion. They actually have the fourth largest GDP in the country behind the US, China, and Japan. Another fact about Germany's economy is that their debt is steadily decreasing, and it is actually decreasing more than it is in the United States. The education system in Germany is a little different than it is in the United States. They have 5 different levels of education, starting with early childhood education, primary education, secondary education, tertiary education, and then continuing education. Early childhood education is like the preschool years in the United States. Primary education is like elementary school. Secondary education gets broken up into lower and upper secondary, where the lower education is like middle school to sophomore year, and then upper secondary is the final years of high school. Tertiary education in Germany is like when we go to college in the United States. And then continuing education is just when people try to attain a higher degree after completing the tertiary level. While I was researching Germany, I also found some fun facts, and I decided to include those. So the population of Germany is just under 84 million people. And to put this into perspective, the United States population is almost 330 million people. So the United States has a little more than 3 times the amount of people as Germany does. In Germany, college is free for everyone. I thought this was a very interesting fact because this gives everyone the opportunity to attain a college degree. For many people, the cost of college is the determining factor in whether they attend it or not, so this is a really nice perk of going to college in Germany. Another fun fact is that 65% of the highways in Germany don't have a speed limit. This was very shocking to me, and I feel like that would be very unsafe. I'm glad that we have speed limits in the United States. So a story that I wanted to share from my family's past is that this picture is a farm where a lot of my ancestors lived. My great-great-grandparents actually built the farm, and then they passed it on to their children and then to their children, which would be my grandparents. My grandma actually has this drone footage picture of the lot hung up inside of her house still. And this house was located on a 4-corner road, and to this day, it is still known as the Wessel's Corner. Here's a picture of a doily, which is an example of an heirloom. My great-grandma actually made this, and she has passed it down several generations. It sits on our TV stand in our living room with a picture frame of our family on top of it. For me, this project was a very valuable experience getting to conduct research about my family's history. I was able to learn a lot of things that I didn't know before. One thing that I did learn from doing this project is just how much of my family's history still remains to this day. By doing this project, it really helped me to understand my family's history better. I was able to look deeper into each generation of my family and learn more about what their life was like. Thank you all for attending my presentation, and I hope you found it to be informative. Many thanks to the Sisters of Mercy for the work they do with immigrant populations around the world. To my parents and all my family, past and present, who continue to be an inspiration to me. I also wish to thank my professor, Dr. Mattingly, for her guidance and support with my research. Please feel free to share any comments or questions with me at my Mount Mercy email, which is creittinger1737@mountmercy.edu. Thank you.